All right, spoiler-free review on Death Masks by Jim Butcher. This is book number 5 of the Dresden Files. Wow, what an incredible follow-up to Summer Night. This is actually my new favorite book of the series. Okay, I'm only finished with book number 5 out of 17. That 18th book comes out January 2026. That is called 12 Months, so I hope you are ready. If you haven't already begun your Dresden Files journey, you have time. We still have a few months before that next book comes out, so if you read fast, you could definitely do it. Let's keep this particular video spoiler-free, although I have a suspicion that many of you who have made your way to this video are in fact already seasoned fans of either the Dresden Files or just Jim Butcher in general. Either way, I'm glad that you're here. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit subscribe. I really appreciate your support. I have a ton of summary videos on this channel, as well as a ton of spoiler-free and spoiler reviews. So if you ever find yourself in the need of bookish content, I hope you give my channel a shot. I would be glad to have you. I'd love to connect with you. I love connecting with readers who share my particular taste in books, but also if we have a wildly different taste in novels, that's okay. I'd love to chat with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into a spoiler-free review of Death Masks. Again, book number 5 of the Dresden Files. In each one of these books so far, we are dealing with a different conflict. In Death Masks, we have a couple of problems here. Harry has been challenged to a duel with the champion from the Red Court. That is the Court of Vampires, okay? So problem number 1 right there. Problem number 2, we have a very grisly corpse with no head and no hands. So that's also a problem. Problem number 3 is that there is a very special, very ancient artifact that has gone missing from a church. Yeah, that's problem number 3. I was going to divulge problem number 4, but honestly, in my personal opinion, I feel like it's kind of a spoiler, and I want to protect your reading experience as best as I can in case you haven't read Death Masks yet. But on the back of the book, it actually gives away kind of a big thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it at 3. Okay, so problem number 1, we have the duel with a champion of the Red Vampire Court. Then we also have a corpse that's not looking so hot. And then problem number 3 is we have that artifact that is missing. Okay, I'm gonna keep it plain and simple. As far as a star rating, this is a 5-star book. If you're annoyed by me ranking all these books 5 stars, I'm really sorry, but I enjoyed every single one of them. But if I had to rank them, this is my new favorite. I just love this one. This one contains all of the humor that I grew to love in all the previous books, but there's also some very serious undertones of this book, and it's wonderful. The action, that still has not dwindled. It is back-to-back action, and it's so captivating. It's so good. Oh, okay, I got distracted. Number 1, I would rank this book as my favorite. In slot number 2, that's actually going to book number 3, Grave Peril. This was my previous favorite until I read Death Masks. And then number 3 favorite, argue with me if you must, I gotta say, it goes to Full Moon. I love this one. And the way this one ends, wow, that will stick with you for a long time. I adore this book. I know I'm gonna have readers that disagree with me, and that's okay. I'm sorry, I liked it. I read this one twice, and I just loved it. Next, I would say it's gotta be Stormfront. I love this one, and I know you're gonna argue with me that Jim Butcher is just starting Harry's journey in this book. This is the very beginning to a very long series. So there are, not for me personally, but I think for other readers, there may have been some growing pains, especially once you've gotten further along into the series, and they just think lesser of these books. I don't know. I've only read up to book 5. I did actually start book number 6, but I haven't gotten that far into it. But so far, my enjoyment of the next few books has not taken anything away from the first couple books. Okay, and then lastly, I think I would say that in last place is Summer Night. That doesn't mean this wasn't a 5-star book, because it was, but if I had to rank them, this would be my least favorite. I know people are going to disagree with me, and you know what? It's okay. This was wonderful. It has a lot going on. It deals with the Fae. Jim Butcher has really expanded his world at this point, and it's wonderful. I just liked the other ones better. What can I say? With the ranking portion of this video now complete, I can kind of go into other non-spoiler details as to what I really liked about Death Masks. Okay, the romance in here was really good. Yes, Jim Butcher writes spicy scenes incredibly well. He leaves just enough to the imagination while also creating a clear picture for his readers. Very tastefully done. I think that he is a wonderful romantasy writer. Okay, I say that without really meaning that. These are not romantasy books, but there is an element of romance in here, and it's great. And there's a very spicy sex scene in here that I think you'll enjoy too. It's really well done. I can't talk about Dresden Files without addressing the action. There's not a lack of action in any of these books, and this one is no exception. This is just, poor Harry, back to back to back, stuff happening. As soon as he gets a breather, it ends within the next second or so. He just can't catch a break, and you gotta love him for it because he has a, for the most part, pretty good attitude about it, but his life is hard. Well, maybe not his life all the time, every day. We're really kind of understanding what's going on over the course of the couple of days in each of these books, but he does not have an easy lifestyle being a professional wizard in Chicago. Harry has some excellent banter with a particular person in this book. I'm not going to say who it is because it may be a tiny spoiler, but I just love his conversations that he has with people. Yeah, I'm not even gonna name names because if you haven't read this book, you don't know who is introduced as a new character. You don't know who comes back as a returning character, and I'm not going to tell you. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to keep this spoiler free for you, but if you are curious about my spoiler review of Death Masks, I will drop the link in the description box below. If you're a seasoned fan, I would encourage you to check that out because yeah, I talk about very specific scenes that I really, really liked in Death Masks and certain characters that I really liked or really hated. So go check that video out. When it comes to Jim Butcher's writing, he writes in a way that is just not overly complicated. It's not difficult to follow. And I have to say, okay, look, I'm going to say this without really meaning it, but any fantasy book that you jump into, sometimes the author gets inundated with descriptions, and sometimes it's really difficult to visualize what the author is trying to paint for the readers. That is not the case with Jim Butcher. He describes a scene and he describes his characters so perfectly, I can see it in my mind, and it's so effortless, it's wonderful. I'm going to compare him to Brandon Sanderson, which is not fair. They are totally different authors. Sanderson creates such grandiose worlds that sometimes when he's talking about things, it's very difficult for me to follow along certain aspects of the magical system and certain parts of the scene. And I go, okay, I can't really visualize that. I'm having a hard time. Let me tell you, Tress of the Emerald Sea comes up, which that's a wonderful book, but I really kind of had to focus and try really hard to really picture the scenery because it's different. It's not like Chicago. It's not real day worlds. Again, that's an unfair comparison because these books are urban fantasy, meaning they take place in the real world. This is Chicago that Harry inhabits. So with Sanderson's work, he creates a whole world, actually a whole universe that is all his own. So for me, that has more growing pains just because I have to try harder to visualize it. With Jim Butcher, he writes in a way that's just simple for me to understand. It is zero effort and it just makes the journey that much more enjoyable. I'm also currently reading Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Sanderson, and I'm loving it. So far, it's a 5-star experience, but it does require effort for me to try to visualize what Sanderson is trying to paint because it's new to me. This is a world that we've never seen, that I've never experienced. So, okay, I don't know why I'm talking about this because again, it's an unfair comparison. Urban fantasy versus just general fantasy. So anyways, I'm just saying that Jim Butcher does a really good job of projecting the picture that he wants his readers to see when they're experiencing these books. None of these books are boring so far, and I don't expect them to ever be. Just based off of the experience that I've had so far with these books, they've all been very fun. Again, action-packed, just so very fun. So I hope that you have enjoyed them as well. And I have to say, these books are incredibly addictive, okay? I have a habit of starting series and then reading a lot of books in between, and honestly, more often than not, I don't even finish the series. Look at ACOTAR. I started reading ACOTAR years ago. I read the first 4. I still have Silver Flames on my TBR. I still haven't read that one yet. Once I get distracted and sidetracked for so long, it's difficult for me to want to return because I forget what happens in the books, which is why I started recording summary videos, because instead of going back and trying to reread an entire series or an entire novel, I just go refer to the summary video. Anyways, I have a bad habit of not finishing my series that I start. So with Dresden Files, I honestly haven't really wanted to step away. I kind of thought, okay, I'll read a couple, take a break, read something else, read a couple, I really haven't done that. Yes, I have read other books at the same time, but I have not really put Dresden Files aside. And that's a totally new experience for me. It's just been so fun. Harry is just so hilarious. He is real. Like, I feel like I know and love Harry in real life. Don't think that's weird. That just means Jim Butcher did a really good job of creating a lovable, relatable character. Harry's not perfect. He is very real. He has flaws, but you love him anyways. If you've stuck with me thus far, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. I hope you love Dresden Files just as much as I did. I hope you leave me a comment. If you have read this series, let me know which book is your favorite. I hope that you've read all all 17 and you're looking forward to the 18th book coming out next year. I also hope that you've read and loved the short stories. I have yet to read a short story, but I plan to do so in hopefully the near future. Once again, thank you for your support. Happy reading. I hope you're reading something great. Let me know in the comments. I hope to catch you in another video, and until next time, I will catch you on the flip side.